Lydia Mink, who had traveled from the Twin Cities in January 2013 to visit her grandparents in Silver Bay, Minnesota, headed out for some cross-country skiing on a particularly sunny afternoon. She had been skiing for nearly an hour, following the trail maps she occasionally found, when she became disoriented and lost.
And I remember going against my better judgment or my natural intuition, thinking that I would take a right. And that's where everything went wrong.
Her fear increased when she saw prints in the snow she was certain belonged to wolves, which are known to live in the area.
And it was getting pretty dark, and it's really quiet, and all the other animals aren't around. You know, am I being followed? And my mind started kind of playing with me.
Mink soon reached a wider snowmobile trail where she discovered an unfamiliar blue and white sign. Having a decent cell phone signal again, she was able to talk with Lake County rescuers.
Hello?
Is this Lydia?
This is.
Got help on the way there. They're glad to come out there and get you. So I don't want you to move around too much.
No, I'm not. It says emergency location. There's two big 4-digit numbers. It's 2766 and 3955.
That is perfect, because you know what that is? That is a GPS coordinate for my rescue guys coming in. You are, of all the signs out in the woods right there, you are at probably the best one.
Okay.
So.
Woo.
Lake County, along Lake Superior between Duluth and Canada, includes nearly 2,000 square miles of wilderness and 900 miles of trails. In 2011, Shared Geo, a Twin Cities-based nonprofit, worked with the county to create better location markers. The signs they created showed a series of numbers representing a location under a system known as the U.S. National Grid, or USNG. It was one of those blue and white signs, now standardized for national use, Lydia Mink found that day in the forest.
We often have people on snowmobile trails, if they get lost or injured, they'll call 911 on their cell phones, and the dispatcher will ask them, okay, where are you? And honestly, they say, I'm somewhere between Two Harbors and Canada. You know, this is about 100 miles.
The U.S. National Grid is essentially the same geolocation system the U.S. military has used since World War II. Locations can be conveyed using just the last 8 digits instead of the 11 needed with latitude and longitude. Those numbers can be conveyed in 3 different formats as well. While triangulating cell phone signals can help locate lost callers, problems arise in rural areas with few cell towers. USNGapp.org keeps accurate location information even without cellular service by using satellites to establish a location.
The accuracy of that location marker could be 5-10 miles. The app is 30 feet, the size of this room.
Stephen Swayze Sr., a retired airline pilot and chair of a Minnesota Emergency Preparedness Committee, is a founder of Shared Geo. Swayze and others have spent countless hours over the past decade trying to get federal, state, and local jurisdictions to use the U.S. National Grid.
Approximately 1/3 of all response calls in the United States at this time go to a location without a street address. When you have a disaster, who shows up but individuals from outside the community? They don't have working knowledge of that area in a way that they can respond to somebody telling them on a headset, hey, you need to go down to Joe's Bar and hang a left.
In 2015, FEMA issued a directive saying it would use USNG as its standard geographic reference system. The directive grew in part out of the difficulties related to locating stranded or injured people in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina in 2005.
It would be ridiculous to think that the lack of communication about location did not result in people getting injured or killed.
Still, many emergency response teams have not yet trained their personnel to use USNG.
The U.S. Fire Administration in 2013 did a survey to find out how many entities out there were actually using U.S. National Grid in their response efforts. 2% was the answer.
The Minneapolis-St. Paul metro area is one exception. At the South Metro Station, emergency responders primarily use street addresses, but have had occasional incidents where it paid off to know USNG.
It is a very simple, intuitive tool.
In one case, a man, woman, and young child became lost while boating in the backwaters of the Mississippi River as an evening thunderstorm approached.
We checked with the cell phone companies. They were able to get his location to within about, I'll call it an area of 10 square miles. So it didn't do a whole lot for us. I said, can I send you a text message with a web address on it? And go to that web address, take a screenshot of what comes up, and send a picture of that screen back to me. So within 2 minutes, I had a picture back from him that really told me where he was within about 10 meters.
Despite these successes, the nation has a long way to go before the grid is widely adopted.
This is like planting a tree. This is not like flipping a light switch. Ultimately, we need leadership from the top. Otherwise, people continue to be off doing their own thing.
For Market to Market, I'm Colleen Bradford Krantz.